But yeah.
Okay,
Whenever you're ready.
totally. Okay, I'll start with the intro in the meantime. Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining DataCon LA 2021. Welcome to the BI Reporting Business Use Cases track. My name is Hannah, your host, and our co-host today is Hestia. We will be moderating the chat and Q&A for you during the session. Today, we have our guest Raleigh, and she will be talking about personalized by design, how to unlock long-term customer value with data. Raleigh is a curious and data-driven product designer currently working on the membership team at Headspace. She's focused on bringing personalized experiences and recommendations to the near 100 million meditation users that Headspace serves. Through her previous consulting work, Raleigh collaborated with teams to launch over a dozen innovative new products. While she has experience working in a number of industries, Raleigh specializes in designing experiences for artificial intelligence and mental health. In her off time, you might find her canoeing in the Venice canals or riding a bike on the beach. She's also a chess enthusiast, traveler, writer, and all around adventure seeker. Without further ado, I'll hand this over to the speaker. Thanks for being here, Raleigh.
Hey everybody, I'm so excited to have you all here today. Quick hello, who in the chat, where are you guys from? Where are you guys tuning in from today? Feel free to go ahead and answer if you'd like. And I will get the presentation started. Okay. Where's the share screen button?
Oh, it's right next to the microphone.
Okay. Oh, wait, no, that. Oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry about that. Just take 1 second.
We've got locations coming in. We've got Martin from Fresno.
Oh, yay.
We've got Orange County in the house.
All right. Can you see my screen okay?
Not yet.
Maybe it takes a minute. Ree from Hollywood, Christine from Sacramento. NorCal. I miss NorCal. I'm in SoCal.
Sorry about that. Let me try it one more time.
Hessie, are you in SoCal? Are you LA?
I am. I'm in Palmdale, but right now I'm currently in Reno.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
I'm attending the air races this weekend.
Oh.
Sorry. When I'm clicking it, okay, can you guys see it yet?
No.
Not seeing it.
Every time I'm clicking it, it's just like not. Oh no. So I, sorry guys. No, I'm sorry. So
can you click the settings? Do you have the settings? Are they're all should be. You need to allow all of the settings to be shareable.
When I'm okay. Well, you know what? I can do it.
Click on the settings. Let me see.
There's not an option there. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna have to do it without slides, I guess. Well, hi everybody. I'm so glad that you're here today. We're gonna chat about.
I can actually help you share my screen, and then you can just say next. How about that?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
All right.
Can you guys see this?
That's not ideal, actually.
Oh. This is not it?
It is, but it's like so zoomed out.
Okay, let me download it and then I will.
Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Oh, I don't know why it's not working. You know what? It's okay. I think I can just.
Is this okay?
Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Hi everybody. Sorry about that. So let's talk about personalized by design. So you can go to the next slide. So once we're going to be talking about a few categories, you can go ahead and move on to the next one. Once upon a time, people used maps to compose and guidebooks to navigate the world. But now, if you go to the next slide, you have GPS, high resolution, sultry Siri voice suggesting where to turn and even giving you the exact time estimates of minutes in transit. By the way, there's a restaurant 3.2 kilometers away that has the world's best pancakes. While essentially recommenders are mathematical predictions of personal preference, they're also experiences. And the personalized recommendations we receive are increasingly intertwined with our lives in a way where people now just don't expect personalizations, but more and more we have become reliant on personalizations. So this isn't a talk about the depths of neural nets and deep learning algorithms as much as it is a talk about thinking of the experiences in terms of business impact and user impact and how to collaborate between teams in order to build things that are not just technical in their complexity, but also have a value that they're providing. And so, we've seen with personalization, it has the ability to deliver discovery, novelty, and satisfaction to billions of people around the world. Personalizing to you in particular in all your creativity, individuality, wonder, and life experiences. We have the power to build experiences more and more targeted to particular people and their cumulative interests. And it's just a really amazing time to be in tech. It's an amazing time to think about what we can do with big data and help users have dynamic journeys as they engage with our process. So let's talk about designing some personalized experiences. Just a quick, in the chat, maybe you guys could just share if you're a data scientist or if you're a designer or what your use case is or your profession, so I could kind of personalize this talk as we go. But, as many of you know, there is not just tech in tech. The humans are as vital as the machines, and I'm going to talk about why. And how we can use our own thinking and our own human minds to complement what we can do with machines and what we can do with machine learning. And we've really come to expect personalized recommendations in the products we use. And I'm going to talk about that. So personalization in the world. Personalization is pretty core to our world experience nowadays. Similarly to how in the 90s there were websites being born, companies being born on the web, nowadays there's more and more companies being born recommending, companies that are harnessing the collective intelligence of learning cycles and data in order to really build powerful personalized experiences to each user that they serve. Google gets smarter each time you make a search. It immediately acts on every click and dwell that you do in order to improve the experience for everyone else. So you could go ahead and go to the next slide. These all had animations and stuff in them, but that's okay. So we could go to the next slide, actually. I think a lot of the times we think of UX as within the confines of a Figma file, or a lot of designers are limited by what they can create because of the confines of a Figma file. And user experience is a lot more than just the look and feel of a site. UX is the load time of a website. UX is the dead ends you experience. And data really allows us to keep dynamic experiences going with no dead ends, keep things novel, keep things interesting, and actually allow users to play an active role in defining the experience they receive on a product. So you could go to the next slide. Maybe I'll just stay next. So in Spotify, designing the experience of recommendations is the difference between, similarly to like grocery shopping and fine dining. So machine learning and data science are core to creating these experiences, but where do those experiences fit into a service? Where do they fit into people's lives? Fine dining has an ambiance, it has a service, it has nice chairs and wine. So you could go ahead and go to the next slide. Discover Weekly is a really great example. You could go to the next slide. Where like every week, millions of people get personalized playlists dropped into their app. And personalization has impacted not only how we search, but how we discover new and novel things all around us. So Spotify is more than just a search engine or a library that you keep your songs, but it's actually becomes more and more personalized to the sound waves and micro genres that you engage with. And continues to recommend those kinds of genres to you so that you can engage further. Can you go to the next slide? Personalized experiences are possible at scale. If you think about Spotify, they host over 20 million songs, but they're able to narrow down to what you in particular might want. This is really amazing. And when you think of a lot of the products out there, like Amazon Prime, for example, has well over 20,000 movies and videos, and every minute over 500 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube, over 50 million photos uploaded to Instagram every minute. And, Amazon carries 3 million books. There's just this great and growing abundance and inherently shrinking time that we have. And so that attention is really important, and recommendations and personalization really help us make thoughtful decisions and reduce the amount of effort it takes us to find what we're looking for and discover new things that are relevant to our own interests. So today companies are being born recommending like these companies, Amazon, Alibaba, Google, Netflix, TikTok. They're more than just websites or apps. They're actually insight engines where they're delivering personalization. So TikTok is a really interesting example. You can go to the next slide, or the next couple actually. There's TikTok is one down a little bit. Oh, I'm so bummed I couldn't share, but it's okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this recently was announced that YouTube or TikTok has surpassed YouTube in the average watch time. And TikTok might know you better than you know yourself, or better than your best friend knows you. And that sounds really scary, I think, for some people, but we all love a little data-driven intimacy, immediacy, relevancy, and discovery. The story of TikTok is one of my favorites. It was built in just 200 days by the parent company Tencent. And it's really an example of how companies can use algorithmic innovation in combination with simple, fast, and intimate user experience design to see enormous adoption. VP of operations, Tina Zhao, said that you can go to the next slide. We strive to become the platform that knows each individual best, and no two user feeds are alike. Next slide. Head of user research, Wei Ying Ma, has said that this quote, we model user interests based on data. User profiles are updated in real time for each and every action taken. The data volume is insane. TikTok has approximately 190 terabytes of user profile data, which is equivalent to the data the Hubble Space Telescope produces in 20 years. And daily, the data TikTok processes is equivalent to 55 billion photos, which is hard to imagine. It's just these big numbers are crazy, but big data really does empower us to think completely differently about products and experiences altogether. Next slide. So TikTok now has over 2 billion users, and it started in the end of 2017. And the experience on the app, from the moment you enter, it's a cold start, but the algorithm is learning from your digital trails, your hovers, your physical location, every bit of data, where you go, where you open the app. they compile that to create an experience that is unique to you as your own fingerprints. It's a constantly evolving experience too, with no dead ends and no wrong choices. Every swipe is rewarded. Every gesture, there's no wrong gesture you can do. A swipe left goes to a profile, or you can do everything up and down to switch, and yeah, you could go ahead and go to the next. Oh, this one was a little bit of an animation, so why don't you just scroll down a little bit? It's kind of like a slow reveal. But in our world, the way we socialize, the music we listen to, the food we eat, the news we read, the habits we form, and the environments we create for ourselves are increasingly indistinguishable from the recommendations we receive. So, the right recommendation at the right time is exactly what an Amazon and a Netflix, a Facebook, a Spotify, Google, LinkedIn, Tinder, you name it, all aspire to. So speaking of that, let's talk a little bit about the business impact we've seen of of recommendation experiences. So you could go ahead and go to the next slide. Thank you. So Amazon, personalized recommendations can make the search effortless. This was a little bit of an animation of like going through Amazon, and I recently was looking for oven pans, but there's like rows of recommended oven pans, and there's the way we cut and slice this data. It's really a gift of predicting not only what people like you, but really what you in particular might want, need, or possibly be interested in. And when asked why Amazon supports reviews, Jeff Bezos had said, "We don't make money when we sell things. We make money when we help customers make purchase decisions." And if I stress one thing in this talk, it's that personalization and recommendations are not defining or dictating a path for a user, but it's really all about choice. And it's about giving users more choices and more relevant choices to their needs. And that's really something that's powerful and making people feel better about their choices and having more awareness of what exists that's relevant to them. So, when you go and put something in your cart in Amazon, everything you do is also continuing the cycle of customization. And this personalization ends up helping drive more conversions and driving people to buy more. The world of e-commerce, next slide, there is a huge correlation with people's willingness to buy things and what we see in engagement from recommendations. So the data-driven cross-sell and serendipitous discovery has really transformed the way we think about e-commerce, but also our digital world altogether. We could go to the next slide. Netflix is like one of my favorite examples. Oh, one more. That's all right. One more slide, if you don't mind. Thank you. One back. There we go. Okay. So Netflix, so it's really had a lot of growth on their own. And so there was a tech blog I was reading from a Netflix internal staff that was talking about streaming has not only changed the way our members interact with the service, but it transformed the type of data we have available to us. So if you think about a DVD by mail company, people have very little ways of like actually knowing if people like the DVD or not. But streaming opens up this treasure trove of new information. And now they observe that 75% of what people watch is from a recommendation. And they have continuously optimized the member experience as well as the algorithms in order to reach this point of personalization that's so accurate. They've actually created a new kind of viewer altogether, the binge viewer. And a survey conducted, over 60% of Americans describe themselves as regular binge viewers. So it's really pioneering that space and transforming how we consume movies. You're not, going one at a time anymore. And interestingly as well, they also use data to backfill their production cycles. So like House of Cards was a really great example where they actually relied on data in order to design and develop and choose talent for the creation of that movie. So it really does go two directions. And next slide, please. All right. So sooner or later, most people in most places start to get to a point where we aren't reaching out to people to ask for recommendations for restaurants or recommendations of what to buy. We're revving up a recommendation engine of some sort. And that is actually personalized to our specific world. So, it's not just about anticipating what people desire, but actually nudging people to explore opportunities and that might have never crossed their minds. And as a user, that's really useful because as these personalization experiences become more interwoven in your life, you find that you're getting advice from them, you're informing your decisions, and you're also finding inspiration from these things. They're helping you find what you need and also serendipitously discovering new things. So it's the data-driven recommendations are really built for instant relevance. And I think this personalization promotes curiosity as well, which is wonderful. And often I think the future is very clear. We're getting to a point where the device in your hand or the AirPod in your ear is actually giving you reliably better advice than any of your friends. And what does that mean for users? Well, one, it's a transformation of, if you go to the next slide, it's a transformation of choice. So we're actually seeing, while recommendation engines are essentially a mathematical way of predicting personal preference, they're similarity hunters at their core. People who bought X will also buy Y. It gets more and more complex, this system of similarity. And I think the questions start to arise, such as how do we define aspects, attributes, attitudes, in order to really present users the best possible choices and contextually relevant options. And when you have limited attention and limited time, it becomes really important to have those choices presented to you in a way that's digestible. And I think that there is a lot of confusion sometimes about like what is AI and what is recommendations and what does personalization even mean. And in my mind, the simplest way to think about it is the presentation of choice. And we're digging into the depths of data warehouses and pulling out specific pieces that reflect your exact interests so that you get to see your little slice of the world in whatever product ecosystem that you're in. So also something to think about is users are starting to expect this. It's no longer like just something that is a startup hack technique. This is like in mainstream everything. And when users expect choice and they expect relevancy, that expectation is tightly coupled with the user experience. So you can't really change one without affecting the other. And especially true for younger generations, these recommendation engines are really integral to how they make choices and how they find inspiration. Next slide. So discovery is also possible through recommendation engines. So it's reflecting your wants and needs, but also allowing you to discover your wants and needs. So selecting a Netflix series or picking a Spotify playlist is not unlike trusting a talented chef to prepare a meal for you and surprise you. It's a leap of faith, but one that you've built trust around because this product has so reliably delivered great recommendations to you. And it's hard to come by, finding new music or finding the right Netflix series to watch. And so there's such a high level of reward that you feel when you do find those things. It actually, to the next slide, opens up a sense of serendipity. We used to find serendipity walking down the street and, oh, maybe I'll try this restaurant. Maybe you're going to click on that Netflix show that just popped up and you're going to find this treasure trove of hilarity and humor, or one single Spotify song you hear on the radio prompts a new playlist with a new genre of music you've never discovered before. I mean, this is really wonderful, and like one of the parts of recommendations and personalizations that I'm most excited about. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what it means to create these things and to build them. So creating your own. Both data scientists and user researchers and business leaders alike all want to understand people. And we want to understand these people because they drive the products and services that we build. And while maybe data scientists are more on the quantitative side and user researchers are more on the qualitative side, we need to work together in order to create experiences that are dynamic and evolving and real time. So, your behavior, the time you spend on a product, your contextual circumstances, yes, these help recommenders cultivate more knowledgeable and discriminating personalized recommendations. But as we learn from these interactions, we have to make decisions as a product, and it requires a multidisciplinary team. It's not one black and white answer to how does this personalization fit into users' lives, or what is the service that is the personalization. There's a lot of different ways that you can find to fit into people's lives. And at the core of that recommendation experience is a story and a narrative about choice. What actions can a user take that will trigger a recommendation? Is it their geographic location? Is it their heart rate? Is it something that they search? And the medium of that story includes user interface, it includes copy, it includes imagery, maybe sound, maybe haptics. The structure of the presentation of that recommendation is where design comes in. And personally, I've seen that as a designer, you kind of end up owning the human side of it. And it can be really helpful to your team, to data scientists, into framing the kind of data we collect, how we tag it, the model inputs and outputs, the KPIs that we measure success on. So you should and need to collaborate with data scientists. And I think, I don't know if there's other designers in this talk, but teams that have data scientists on them are able to do much more interesting, dynamic experiences. Like just think about personas. Personas traditionally were this one dynamic thing where people would just have one persona and we'd say like, this is the product, this is our user, and this is the path. And we would create arrow by arrow one user experience. Yet now with clustering, and we're able to create really dynamic and actually many, many, many personas and sub-personas down to the level of, as TikTok leadership was saying, everyone's feed should look different. We should create such dynamic experiences that we're actually able to have an N of one, like each individual person having a dynamic and novel and different experience every time they're coming to the product. I think also something you can contribute as a user experience designer or as a business leader or someone that's not on the like heavy tech side of actually building the model, thinking about like, what is the relevance to the moment that this user is at? What is the reliability of this recommendation? How are users experiencing navigating these recommendations? What are they feeling while they're in this moment? Are they curious? Are they engaging? Are they feeling energized by these recommendations? Are they motivated, decisive, bored? Another place you can contribute is the look and feel of the experience, which is really important, of course. These recommendation engines and personalizations have really began as a startup information retrieval technique. but have turned into virtually every touch point on the web, and they're enhanced user experiences everywhere. And so I encourage you not to be limited by the constructs of a design file, but create dynamic experiences that are constantly evolving and changing, and reward engagement on your product. Reward engagement with more personalization, because each engagement should be a data point that you can do something with. So let's go ahead to the next slide. And I might have blown through a couple of these. Here, go to the next slide. So just to live this, I'll just leave this slide up for a few seconds. I kind of walked through these, but there's a few questions you can ask when you're, as a non-data science person, contributing to the experience of a product that has a data-driven aspect to it. You can go ahead and go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So let's look at Netflix, when we're thinking about actually building products. So they have, each row of their product is personalized, right? So there's the video ranker, which is an algorithm that orders the entire catalog of videos for each member in a personalized way. This is what you might say is like your personal most likely to engage row. And then there's like the genre row, kind of like the N video ranker, which is more like best in class based on what your micro genre viewing habits might be. Then there's trending now. This is for yearly trends and one-off events that might pique certain interests, such as Halloween or Christmas. Then there's continue watching. You never want to like start something and not be able to get back to it. It's just an easy way to pick up where you left off. And then there's video to video similarity. So like, because you watched X, you're most also likely to enjoy X. And that's what it looks like on the surface. And those are the kind of the macro recommendations. But actually, something you might not know, which I find incredibly fascinating, is that every single thumbnail is also personalized. So in some of the user research that Netflix did, they found out that users on average spend 1.8 seconds considering each title, and 82% of their focus in that time was on the thumbnail. And so the company did a big experiment study with user research, and they ran thousands of experiments in product to find the best possible artwork for Stranger Things. This was, pretty recent, right? And the user researchers, when they were looking at the data, they realized, this approach is really challenging because everyone has a different optimization variable. There's an enormous amount of diversity in tastes and preferences, and with such a high amount of attention going to these thumbnails, they actually realized it was better if we could find the best artwork for each of our members to highlight the aspects of the titles that are specifically relevant to them. So like, for example, like, do you like comedies or romance more? So you might be looking at the same movie, but if you like comedies more, you're going to see a picture of the couple laughing. And if you like romance more, you're going to see a couple's embrace. So this is something that Netflix does on a literal N of 1 scale, so person to person, and I think it's incredible. And they found incredible results from this. People were able to find the stories and the movies that they wanted to watch faster. And what Netflix has really emphasized, and I think a lot of companies know this, but each section of the screen is precious real estate. And if you want to ensure the member understands why a title is being shown to them, you have to make it relevant to them. And that invokes trust and continuity of the experience. So I know that we're kind of like coming around to time. It was really like a lot of information to blow through. So I'm really excited that you're all here, and that thank you so much, Hestia, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, for sharing the slides. But I think, like, in summary, some of the most important takeaways I hope that you gain from this talk is just, oh wait, that's okay, actually, you could leave it on that slide. Choosing the KPI that reflects user experience, not just the business KPI or the algorithm KPI. So Netflix wrote about how they actually now they used to kind of evaluate their algorithms based on like kind of standard algorithm scales, but now their number one KPI is all around experience and how, you know, they have a number of KPIs that are tied to binge worthiness, and that's particular to how they create loyalty in their customers. Every business and every product is different. Data has both analytic and predictive power. I think something to think about is it's a two-sided road. Netflix, talking about that House of Cards series, it drove their development. But Spotify is an example as well. They actually have proven helpful in identifying new artists and helping new artists emerge through their recommendations. And, you know, as we look at these Facebooks, Amazons, Airbnbs of the world, each interaction that you do on the product is helping to better segment and serve their customers. So thinking of this from a business perspective and an overall perspective, create learning cycles where you're able to evolve and grow dynamically as people engage with you. And you know, that's how you're going to go from 0 to 1 or 1 to 100. And so we could go to the next slide. And yeah, I'm really inspired by this book, Recommendation Engines. It's from the MIT Essential Knowledge series, and it's by actually someone who I've had the chance to meet, Michael Schrage. And this, even though it looks kind of like a dry cover, it's really about design, and it's a really wonderful book full of case studies and actually very like thought-provoking, and talks a lot about the future of AI in our world, and what it means to be recommending and personalized. And then of course, like the People Plus AI guidebook is like a really wonderful resource with downloadable workshops for you and your team in order to like implement AI in your products. And next slide. And my name is Raleigh Tomlinson. I work at Headspace. I'm a senior product designer. Oh yeah, and we're hiring. I'm looking for a lead data scientist for the membership team, which is the team that I'm on. So I would really love if you are interested, and if you know anyone that's interested, please reach out to me. Especially, I'm really looking forward to someone who can take these ideas to the next level and help collaborate. So if this is interesting to you at all, would love to work with you. And then the next slide. And yeah, my name is Raleigh. And, you know, if this were at DataCon live in person, which hopefully we'll get back to one day, I would have the chance to see your faces and talk to you, which I don't have the chance to do. So please reach out to me. I'm so happy that I got the chance to share these ideas and thoughts with you today. And yeah, now I would love to open it up to any questions or thoughts or comments.
Well, I guess there's 1 minute left, but I have a quick question. It's kind of abstract, though, so maybe it won't be as quick, but I'll try to make it quick. But like, how would you approach that aspect between, like, when it comes to personalization, right? What you might think the user, or what you might predict the user would like based on like their past activities, right? And then introducing that something new that it might not be represented in the data, or you might not have any data. Like, how would one, I guess, go about that? Because I always would think, like, you know, when I look at my Netflix recs and stuff, and it's like there's a similarity there, but what if there's like a movie that, you know, I didn't know I would like, and you know, like.
Yeah, totally. And actually, if you don't have the data, then there's something called a rules-based system. And it's basically where you create guesses. You're like, you know, I think these items are similar. You can do kind of the sorting manually, saying like, users who do X might also like X. And it's a great way to kind of get started. If you don't have big data to draw upon. That's actually a great question, because not enough data is the enemy of great recommendations and personalization. So you do have to do a little bit of guesswork. And I highly encourage you to search rules-based system and learn a little bit more about what that is, because it's kind of a starting point as well, even in creating learning systems.
Interesting. Awesome. Okay, writing that down. And okay, it's 2:05. I'll wrap this up. Thank you so much, Raleigh, for your
Yeah.
presentation. And
Thank
you
you,
can
everyone.
and thank you to the attendees. You can contact the speaker directly if there are any further questions. Please provide your feedback using the form that will be provided in the chat box. And thank you everyone for joining
Thank you
today's
for sharing my
presentation.
slides. Sorry about
Oh,
the
no worries.
Oh, you're good.
I hope it's good. I hope you guys
Oh.
can see it.
It was fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Happy to
Alright.
assist.
Have a great
All
rest
right.
of the day.
Have a
Take
You
care.
wonderful
too.
day. Thank
Happy
you.
Friday.
Happy
Bye.
Friday.
Bye.